Grant Williams loved the tranquility of his Tuesday ritual. Every Tuesday, he took his boat out on Crystal Lake. He'd fish a little, read a little, and mostly just enjoyed the peace and quiet. The sun was warm on his face. A gentle breeze rustled the leaves of the nearby trees. It was perfect. He closed his eyes, letting the gentle rocking of the boat lull him into a state of near sleep. It was the kind of day that made him forget about work, about bills, about everything except the simple joy of being alive. A sudden chill ran down Grant's spine, pulling him from his doze. He opened his eyes, instantly alert. Something was different. A thick, unnatural fog was rolling in across the lake. It moved with an unnatural speed, blanketing the water in an eerie silence. Grant stood up in the boat, his heart starting to pound in his chest. He'd never seen fog like this on Crystal Lake, not even on the coldest winter mornings. It was as if the fog itself was alive, reaching out to consume him. Over the next few weeks, things felt off. Grant couldn't quite put his finger on it. He felt lighter, more energetic. At first he chalked it up to the changing seasons. Maybe he was just feeling younger at heart. Then came the comments. A coworker remarked on how youthful he was looking. His wife Louise joked that he was aging in reverse. Grant laughed along, but a seed of doubt had been planted. Grant's reflection in the mirror confirmed his fears. He looked younger. Not just well-rested younger, but actually younger. The lines on his face seemed to have faded. His hairline, once steadily receding, appeared fuller. He tried to brush it off, but the changes were becoming impossible to ignore. His clothes felt looser. His old aches and pains vanished. He had more energy than he had in decades. It was as if time was running in reverse, but only for him. Section 5. A very public secret. The media frenzy started slowly. A local news report about a man who appeared to be aging backward. Then came the national news vans, the interviews, the endless speculation. Grant's life had become a public spectacle. He became a medical marvel, poked and prodded by doctors who were baffled by his condition. They ran tests, took samples, but no one could explain it. The fog, the lake, the strange feeling of unease. It all felt connected, but Grant couldn't make sense of it. Louise handled the situation with remarkable strength. She shielded Grant from the worst of the media storm. She fielded calls, organized appointments, and tried to maintain some semblance of normalcy, but Grant could see the toll it was taking on her. One evening, after another grueling day of tests, Grant found Louise in tears. Grant asked, his voice barely a whisper, "There's no cure, is there?" Louise shook her head, her shoulders shaking with silent sobs. It was the confirmation Grant had been dreading. Grant's body continued its terrifying regression. He was now the size of a teenager, then a child. The world took on a distorted, overwhelming quality. Doors towered above him. Furniture became insurmountable obstacles. He was a prisoner in his own de-aging body, his mind trapped inside a rapidly shrinking shell. He watched helplessly as his reflection in the mirror transformed from a man in his prime to a scared little boy. His reflection stared back with wide, fearful eyes. The doctors, once optimistic, now spoke in hushed, grave tones. They couldn't stop it. They didn't even understand it. Grant overheard a chilling phrase, reverse development. He wasn't just getting younger, he was essentially unliving his life. The terrifying implication hit him. What happened when he reached the age of 0? Would he simply cease to exist? Or was there something else, something far more terrifying, waiting for him beyond the veil of infancy? Now the size of a toddler, Grant was confined to a crib. Louise tried to be brave, but her eyes betrayed her fear. Grant couldn't blame her. He was afraid too. He was regressing further, his babbling words becoming incoherent gurgles. The world around him was a blur of colors and sounds, his memories fading with each passing day. As he drifted off to sleep each night, he wasn't sure if he'd wake up as a baby or as something else entirely.